Okay, we are starting with a new unit. Our unit is called Decimals on the Grid and on the Number Line. Before we talked about how percentages, decimals, and percents are really the same or equivalent to each other. We can make every fraction a decimal, every decimal a percent, and vice versa. So we're going to really be working on decimals for right now, and make sure you have these definitions in your notes. If you've been taking good notes, you probably got those. Double check, make sure you have them. So then we're going to go back to these two numbers. We have done numbers as large as 35,872 and larger, or we've done as small as 1/12. This is a large number, this is a small number. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at some unfamiliar decimals. So first let's think about, when do we use decimals, percentages, and fractions? We have a lot of places we use them. I have like a half an apple, 3/4 of an inch. If we're measuring anything, a lot of it comes into fractions. Decimals, money comes to mind right off the bat, $9.95. On your odometer in the car, you maybe went 1/10 of a mile. Batting averages, scores when you're doing gymnastics. I don't know, percents. I think of it a lot when I'm getting a sale, or what you got on your test. You got 100% and 90%. Sales tax. Everything has a sales tax. 8% they have to add on to your amount that you spent. Like I said, a sale, 20% off, 50% off, 75% off. Look out if it's 90% off in that aisle. I'm going for it. Talk with your partner if you can think of any other times that you use decimals, fractions, or percents. Okay, now that you've discussed it, we're going to move on to working with it on a grid. And when we do decimals, we usually work under the basis of 100 or tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. We can go as far as we need to forever, because that's where numbers go. Here, let's look at page 1. And what would you say that this grid is? How much is this grid covered? Talk to your partner about, well, I think it's what? And try to say it in a decimal, a percent, and a fraction. Here we have it in, we could write it as what? 1/2 of the garden is filled in, correct? Or we could count how many we have all together. We have 5 of them shaded in. So 0.5 is writing it as a decimal. And what percent? I would say it's 50% of it is filled in. I just wrote this as a fraction, a decimal, and a percent. And it all means the same thing. Now, that was out of 10. It still is 1/2 here. Or we could say it is, instead of 1/2, with this fraction, we could say it is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 50 out of 100 is shaded in. And we have a new fraction right there, but guess what? They're both equivalent to each other. This could be, our decimal is 0.50. And once again, it's still 50%. But it was colored two different ways. Now, let's look at this one. And if we look at this one, we could write over here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5, 5.5, or we could do if you wanted to write this as a fraction, you would write 5.1/2 over how many? 10. We could write it as, if we count all these, there are 55 out of 100. Still means the same thing. If we wrote it as a decimal, it would be 0.55 because a decimal, or we have 55%. Now, do you understand how we could write it so many different ways? If not, talk with me or your partner over, have a discussion with your partner. Because now we're going to be moving on to page 2, and you need to fill that in with your partner as far as what fraction is it, what decimal is it, and what percent is it. And they will all be equivalent. So when I look at that, so I have this very first one, and I know I could say, wow, this could be, my fraction could be what? I could see I could do 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 1 part out of 4 shaded in. So this could be 1/4, or it could be I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of. Or it could be 25 out of 100. Could be my fraction. So if that was my fraction, what would my decimal be? Well, my decimal could be 0.25 out of 100. My percent would be 25%. Are you noticing that if you count the squares and you do it out of 100 or out of 10, you just kind of move that decimal, how many spots, how many zeros we have in the percent or in the fraction? Does that always work? As of yet, it has. So I want you to finish page 2 together, and then you have page 3 and 4. I'm just coloring them in. 5 and 6 is homework. If you get to a point where you don't understand, please stop here. Everything builds on this and understanding how a percent, fraction, and a decimal are exactly the same thing. They're intertwined. They mean the same thing. It's just a matter of knowing what place value that number is in. And as you've noticed, so far we haven't had any completely filled in, so we're still a fraction of a whole, or a part of the whole. So that's why we have decimals and percents. Give it your best shot.